like, unironically, they could just, like, hold a grudge against me for that. I'm not even trolling. Last night, I got banned again. Yamato got banned again.
Right.
And then Riot accounts from Alois and Ribson were both locked again.
So Riot accounts, to my knowledge, I think it's like I said in your chat the other day, they have to be manually banned. Right, so someone at Riot Korea is manually banning you at 5 AM, which means that they are just watching the stream. Yeah, everyone's guilty by association, yeah.
So the TF Blade versus LS drama, together with TF Blade's general toxicity when playing on the Korean server, and as well as some Korean pros detesting the fact that NA people are playing on the server, has had massive consequences for the EU versus NA race of Korea. I mean, it just feels like TF Blade is Oppenheimer himself. You can watch the prelude to the drama here in the top right, but basically the situation has escalated and more information has been revealed, indicating that Riot Games is specifically target banning these streamers while they're playing on the Korean server. Dantes would call yet another emergency council today, basically having Yamato and a few other streamers joining his room. He would go on to discuss the rough timelines of the events from his perspective, where he states that firstly, TF Blade gets banned, arguably because of the LS versus TF Blade drama, and as well as his toxicity versus pros and streamers in solo queue. TF Blade then goes on to play on new accounts, which are both, and Riot responds to that by banning every single account associated with his IP, apart from Riot accounts. This caused multiple streamers like Dantes, Yamato, Detention, Alois, Sinerias, and Value247 to be locked, not banned, out of their accounts. Makro and Ornotipi, which I think is in the same hotel, didn't get logged because he's on a Riot account, and the same applies to the Polish streamer Ribson. Now, what would happen after the ban is that Dantes and Yamato would do on new accounts, and I assume these are non-Riot accounts. They did this because they thought this was maybe a problem only with TF Blade and not them, and they just got caught in a crossfire from the IP ban. However, after a few hours, their accounts would just get locked again. As I understand it, Alois would get a Riot account from level 1 in less than 24 hours. He would get a level 30 account to work with, so he basically doesn't have to hand level his account. Sinerias would not have a Riot account, and Alois and Sinerias would also go live later on and do a queue together. Note that Alois had a Riot account, and a few hours into their streams, both of them got locked, which is just insanely weird. I mean, one of them is a Riot account, right? So it would indicate that Riot is manually doing it. Ribson, who was previously untouched and unaffected, also gets his account locked, and they all have zero clue as to why they're getting locked. Now, I feel like this might be a bit disingenuous because, again, Dantes and Yamato didn't really confirm that they were on Riot accounts, so they might have just been locked because they are account sharing. And to Riot's eyes, that's a straight up ban, especially since Korean accounts are tied to someone's identity. Fevinite, which is a Korean streamer that sometimes streams in English, would state that this is a huge issue on the Korean server. Yamato would also share his thoughts on why they're all getting their accounts locked.
We're in a situation where we don't know why we're getting banned at this point.
I have a theory. Are you listening? Riot Korea realizes how good we all are, and we are clowning their server for being too shit, and there's actually too many like streamers that like climb too fast, so they got like nervous that the reputation of that dog shit server actually isn't the truth, like actually that it got way worse than it was before. So they all got afraid and banned all the people they thought that were like too good.
However, as Dantes would also point out, this doesn't make sense as Agorin, Spearshot, and Midbeast are all untouched. Here's where it gets a bit weird though. Nail, which is in a completely separate area with a different IP obviously, gets also his account locked, which provided even more confusion to the situation. I mean, Nail hasn't done anything that would amount to a lock, but I tried to do some research on whether he has a Riot account or not, and I am basically unable to confirm it. But there's still a chance for those with Riot accounts to get them unlocked. I mean, all they have to do is to contact their Riot contact that they got their account from. But I was watching Alois' stream for a bit complaining about the situation, so it just seems like that's not possible, although that's just basically my impression. Eventually, LS would join in a call with Dantes, and also Quest would come too. LS has been helping a lot with these EU and NA streamers, as he tends to do that when people want to bootcamp there. He is basically providing people mainly with accounts and tips on where to stay and, you know, areas to visit. If you don't know who Quest is, he's basically the manager for LS, and LS relies on Quest as he is the middleman to Riot Korea. Quest has a good amount of contacts when it comes to Riot Korea and also a bit for Riot China. When LS joined the call, he would go into his POV of the timeline of events, and basically the most important part is that even though he had a fallout with TF Blade, he never reported him. He has the personal belief that no one should be cancelled or ruin their livelihood over something as petty as this unless it's something super serious. I mean, TF Blade would even talk to LS during this, I guess you could call it meeting, where they kind of just squashed the beef by saying that they agree it's all in the past. LS and Quest would reveal some incredibly interesting information when it comes to this whole eruption of events though. LS says that the player bans are being done manually by a person. He also said that the TF Blade versus LS drama was the catalyst for his bans, and there was already some low amount of Korean posts upset over his behavior in solo queue prior to that drama. LS also said that there was a time in Korea, if you were a high MMR player, you could get a Riot account by applying. Before I continue, LS would also mention a Korean Wikipedia on TF Blade, and if you go through it, holy shit, it is filled with information of his lore. I mean, they go into specifics of when he got X rank and Y rank, and if you compare it to Leaguepedia's wiki, it's nowhere near as much as in depth as the Korean Wikipedia goes. LS would say that something happened though in relation to how Riot gave out the Riot accounts, and this is all linked to TF Blade. And by the way, it's a bit hard to try to translate this page, so I didn't find this written myself, but I'll link it in the description, maybe you'll find it there. But anyways, again, according to LS, Riot rescinded the previous policy that was in place because of TF Blade's past boot camps. Dantes would also eventually ask if they're being target banned by Riot Korea. LS would respond saying that, to his knowledge, Riot accounts have to be manually banned. Someone at Riot Korea is manually banning those with Riot accounts, and they're definitely watching the stream. In addition to that, the incident with detention on the Korean pro player is quite relevant.
This pro player in my game said, "You are from NA, I'm making sure you get banned," is what he said to me, and he was 1 in 14! 1 in 14!
But wait, your account just got banned, right?
Literally,
We all got
he
banned.
said, in the game that I just played, he said, "I will make sure all NA players will be banned."
What the fuck? Dude!
And I went to the bathroom, come back, and I'm banned.
As LCK pros and influencers have a private hotline with Riot where they can report toxicity, account sharing, and so on, and that will also be immediately acted upon. According to LS, this hotline was used when Faker was being harassed and targeted into it a few years ago. The most mysterious part of this conversation is that Dantes asked why they're getting targeted by Riot, and LS and Dantes would mute to discuss this.
I mean, I guess he was saying that it was manual reports and shit, but why are we still getting targeted? That's what I don't understand.
I mean, I could talk about some stuff, but I don't want to bring attention to it when, you know, you're live with as many viewers as you are.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to bring attention to it?
Just mute really quick.
Okay, 1 second.
After the mute, they would move on to another topic. I'm not sure why they're getting targeted by Riot, but I would imagine the best bet is because of the account sharing amounting to identity theft, the opinion of the Korean public from the forums on foreigners playing on Korea, or the fact that LCK pros are resenting TF Blade, and or thus the other streamers, which all of this may cause that Riot is target banning them. It might also be something else, so, you know, let me know what you're cooking up in the comments. Riot Korea also told Quest that there's 100% certainty that the accounts will not be unlocked. LS speculated that maybe the guy who is banning the accounts is not realizing some of the accounts are Riot accounts, and that they're just blindly but manually locking the accounts as soon as they see it on the streams. And as LS points out, it's just mere speculation though, as we don't really know what shows up when Riot is going through a manual ban process. So the pop-up for most streamers, it says that their account is temporarily locked, so the Riot accounts are able to unlock it by contacting their Riot contact. Another thing that confirms it's a manual ban is when Dantes and a few other streamers clicked on the link provided in the lock message, which prompts you to unlock it. Doing that wouldn't really work, and showing the history of sanctions on your accounts also doesn't show anything. But then again, a lock is technically not a sanction, so maybe that's why it's not showing there. Dantes would also ask them what is Riot Korea's stance on everything. Well, LS and Quest would basically say that Riot will always ban shared accounts, toxic accounts, or accounts that aren't in your name. Quest talked to someone at Riot directly and said that if the accounts are shared, there's no way you're getting unlocked. Quest also suggested that they might try playing at a different location, but as far as I'm concerned, none of the streamers have decided to do that. What Dantes was very weirded out on was why Nail got locked though, so it feels like the streamers are being targeted, but then again that would probably mean that the other streamers like Midbase would also get locked out, and the question as to why Nail got locked out hasn't really been answered. Quest also contacted a middleman, which is actually a girl, and she has contacts with Riot China. After providing names and other information, Riot China came back to them and said that they couldn't provide accounts, and there was no specific reason given. This prompted Dantes to ask if Riot Korea told him to say no, but Quest would respond saying that there is 0 chance that Riot Korea and Riot China talk to each other saying that they shouldn't get accounts. But in the end, that's fine for Dantes, as he stated that he hates the idea of playing on the super server because he wants it to be another one of his arcs, and he basically wants to save it for another time. He wants to use this time to get rank 1 on Korea, and he doesn't really want to play on Japan either. Alright, so while I'm editing this video, apparently Sinerias has unlocked his account, the Monk Mentality account. This is the same account he played with Alois, and I have no fucking idea how he did it, because he confirmed in a YouTube video that he said that it's not a Riot account and he somehow unlocked it. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave this Korea arc all the way behind unless there's something completely new happening. Like, it's a complete clusterfuck of information. And a lot of the times the streamers are not saying that much, you know, so you kind of have to like read and look through all this. It's just hard to, you know, come by information and, you know, whatever is happening behind the scenes. Well, all in all, I think we can all agree that this is just a weird turn of events. I think you can criticize the behavior of TF Blade and, you know, as well as his infamous quote-unquote apology, but I can't fathom the thought of hating him for getting the 6 other streamers also hit in the crossfire. I mean, it's just not something I would personally have expected. If I get banned, it would be because of my actions and the ban would be directed to me, just not making someone guilty by association, which kind of happened here. Even account hopping on EOS wouldn't be an issue, but I mean, everything is kind of different in Korea, so you have to be aware of that and respect their customs. Other than that, most of the streamers are grinding on Japan server now, which includes Alois and TF Blade. This might change for Alois as he has a Riot account, and maybe he'll get it unlocked, but who knows. I doubt even Riot will make a statement regarding this, even though how unfair they have been to some of these streamers. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe as I got some big bangers coming out next, and if you didn't like the video, I thank you for watching.